any of the presentations today, but a number of the key themes in the last presentation will be repeated in mine, although I think from a different perspective. So, as I think many of you would agree with me, we have a vision for the future of the car, and it's fueled by connectivity. So all the things that the presenter before was talking about, the context of the car, the context of the environment, the context of the people, that's all part of it. But there's multiple types of connectivity that we're talking about. We're talking about connectivity to the cloud over cellular. We're talking about connectivity between vehicles, whether that's over DSRC today or cellular V2X in the future. We're talking about cars connected to the environment, again, over DSRC or environment connected to the cars over cellular. And we're talking about the cars being connected to the people and the devices in the car over a range of technologies. So although this future world of complete contextual awareness is coming and is the future, the connected car is here in terms of the individual element. So according to various industry analysts, whether you're talking about cellular going above 50% penetration or Bluetooth approaching 100% penetration, Wi-Fi getting close to 50%, by the end of this decade or the start of next decade, cars will be connected, driven by consumer use cases for the experiences that we've come to expect on our mobile devices and the experiences that we're more and more becoming familiar with inside the car. By automakers for the things that they want to do in terms of remote diagnostics and predictive analytics or predictive maintenance to really the future of complete mobility services. Regulatory requirements, depending on the region, whether it's e-call in Europe or stolen vehicle tracking in Brazil or the potential for the mandate for DSRC in the US. You're really talking about the potential for societal benefits, reduced congestion, improved traffic flow, reduction of emissions, and reduction of energy utilization or consumption. What we're really talking about is the transformation of the automotive industry. And we've seen this before. Qualcomm has actually been a part of this before. So the mobile industry transformed from analog to digital as we went to CDMA and 3G. Now we're at 4G, we're going to 5G in the near future. The computing industry changed from desktop computers to these things that we all carry around in our pockets and are infinitely stronger than we had at home just a handful of years ago. And this same transformation is coming to automotive, and it's going to take investment, it's going to take innovation, and it's going to take learning from both industries and what has worked and what hasn't worked in the past. So Qualcomm Technologies has a roadmap of products that we believe are relevant to the connected car. So whether it's the cellular connectivity, wireless LAN connectivity, Bluetooth connectivity, between the acquisitions that we've made over the last few years, Qualcomm Atheros, and then more recently Cambridge Silicon Radio, we have a portfolio of these technologies. We have 2 decades worth of experience in being a solution provider to the automotive industry. And we have the depth and breadth to address what the industry needs, as evidenced by having shipped more than 300 million chips into the industry today. But it truly is a brave new world that we're going into. We're talking about multiple types of connectivity, wireless connectivity. We're talking about multiple wired connections, and we're talking about many different vehicle types and architectures. It's really driven by the use cases, though, the complexity of the world that we're going into. So in terms of cellular connectivity, traditional telematics, if you will, we're moving from a world of safety and security into today's world where LTE is making its way into cars. You're enabling use cases like Wi-Fi hotspots in the car, connected navigation, connected infotainment, and a handful of other things. As we move into the future, it's this next wave of use cases that the automakers and the ecosystem is imagining. So phone-based, personalization and credential management that's required for the sharing economy. V2X communications over cellular, big data aggregation and ingestion and analytics, and really this path towards autonomous driving. As the bandwidth goes up into 5G, you also have the Wi-Fi experiences changing. So Wi-Fi as the distribution network for the bandwidth in the car. As the bandwidth goes up, those changes. So it's not only the Wi-Fi hotspot, it's the streaming content from the head unit to devices in the car. It's the mirroring of content from the devices back to the car. So CarPlay and Android Auto going from their tethered state today to wireless state. All these things are enabled over Wi-Fi. And then you have Bluetooth, and Bluetooth is probably the oldest, in-cabin wireless technology. We all know Bluetooth from a, kind of hands-free calling, audio streaming, audio routing perspective, and that is that's the clear use case, and that's why the Bluetooth attach rates are so high in the previous slide I showed. But there are emerging use cases for addressed by Bluetooth Low Energy. So really what this is doing is addressing very power-sensitive applications with power-sensitive and cost-sensitive applications. One of the ones that we've seen the most traction for is remote key entry. So on the one hand, it's simply replacing the key fob that we all have. But if you go back to the kind of sharing economy and the fact that we all have phones which have our credentials and our personal information, those phones also have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth combo chips which have Bluetooth Low Energy. So the ability to use the phone as your key and multiple keys to the same car is something that's coming. The fourth technology, connectivity technology, I'll talk about, and we don't necessarily think of this as a connectivity technology, but it truly is location, GNSS. So the world that we've come from is basic navigation. From a product perspective, there's been some regulatory things which have driven enhancements, and we've gotten to a world today of what we call enhanced navigation, where you've got all the constellations covered, you've got 3D dead reckoning, you've got fast outputs of signals, and it really addresses the world today. But if you focus on the yellow line, again, the use cases are they're increasing. As we get to semi-autonomous and full autonomous, the requirements for location accuracy only increase. My colleague and I were talking earlier, and he used the analogy that location accuracy is like bandwidth. You can never have enough. It's addicting. It's better is always better, or more is always better. So one set of complexity is bringing all these things together in the car, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. The other complexity is keeping up with the pace of change of all these technologies. So each of these things evolves on its own pace. So cellular, as we look in 2016, LTE Advanced Pro is where the industry is. LTE is where the automotive industry is. By the time the automotive industry moves to deploying LTE Advanced Pro, the cellular industry is going to be at 5G. So how do automakers kind of manage this complexity? Bluetooth, again, I mentioned there's a new Bluetooth 5.x is coming, and it's starting to imagine some of these automotive use cases and some of the requirements for angle of approach and an extended range are coming in. I think Wi-Fi is very parallel to cellular in that the Wi-Fi that's going into cars today is able to distribute the bandwidth that's available over cellular today. But Wi-Fi is progressing. The bandwidths that are available on Wi-Fi chips today won't show up in cars until the cellular connectivity meets it. And then you have the 11AD and 11AY, which is maybe like 5G. It's very high frequency, and it's not entirely clear how the automotive industry would put those things to good use. So all of these things have to be taken into account in the design of the car. And consider that we're designing, in today's world, automakers are designing cars that are going to go, or systems that are going to go into cars in 2019 and 2020. So pretty much everything that I've said about technology today is going to be irrelevant. It will have evolved. Our thinking about the technologies will have evolved by the time these technologies that are available today are going into cars in 2020. So it's a complex thing that the world has to deal with. And Qualcomm is, we're not unfamiliar with this. Again, we've been in the automotive industry for a while, but from a solution perspective business, we've been in the cell phone industry for quite some time. And we have to think about all these things. We have to think about all of the technologies that are going into phones. What are the right choices at the right times for the right regions? What type of processors do you need to support the use cases and applications? What are the OSs? What are the security requirements? Again, the colleague from Cisco, Jasper, what are your cloud connectivity platform requirements? All of these things need to be taken into account. In the automotive industry, it's very much the same thing, right? It's a series of questions that automakers have to ask themselves, or automakers and their suppliers have to ask themselves and be able to answer, putting into context all of these connectivity technologies working together in the car, not stepping on each other's toes, being able to evolve at the right pace, being relevant in the time that you're going to deploy them, as well as for the lifetime of the vehicle. So Qualcomm actually made an announcement today. We announced our connected car reference platform with this complexity in mind. So I think this is going to loop, but basically we wanted to make something that addressed the wireless coexistence, so across all these technologies. We wanted something that was scalable from the most basic TCU up to the most complex wireless gateway. We wanted something which was modular, which could account for the differing technology evolution paces of the different technologies that are going into the car, as well as something that would enable third-party application developers to highlight what's possible. So with that, I'll let this loop now. So we're showing the platform outside. We have demos from 3 partners. We have Hortonworks, who's showing a next-generation connection management application. Again, so when you have all these different connectivity technologies in the car, it really opens up the possibility to optimize how you get the data out of the car and how you can react to different things. We have a demo from Movimento. So again, one of the key applications is being able to update all of the systems in the car. And then V2X communications, as demoed by Savari. It's coming. Whether it's mandated in the U.S. in the next few months, we'll find out. But it's there. So finally, kind of key takeaways, and I'll leave a few minutes for questions. We believe that the future of cars is fueled by connectivity, and that really this is a transformation in the industry, which is going to be fueled by the mobile industry. The connectivity is complex. There's many technologies, different evolutionary speeds, and all of the design decisions that are made today have to take into account these technologies' coexistence and evolution in order to maximize flexibility, cost, performance, et cetera. And that obviously the shameless pitch is that Qualcomm Technologies has the experience to help lead the automotive industry to address this connected car complexity and to do so quickly, to keep up with the pace of innovation in mobile. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Matt. We don't have any questions on Slido at the moment, but does anybody want to say anything or have any questions that they've not submitted? Okay, at the front here.
With all of this connectivity, there will be a lot of data transfer, as everyone has mentioned. One of the questions I have is with security. You have a customer with a lot of very sensitive information, also driving habits, new information that's being developed. What is being done by your company to, or maybe you're relying on other sources, I don't know, to protect that customer or to provide the security needed?
So so you're right. Security is kind of fundamental to this future and imagining these possibilities. From a Qualcomm perspective, we have security plumbing, if you will, trust zone, things that can manage root of trust and whatnot. I think depending on what application you're talking about, what the automaker's requirements are, it's managed higher up the stack at this point. But it's clearly on everybody's mind, security and anonymity, right? User data, so.
Okay, do we have any more questions? Okay then. Thank you very much. Once again, Matt, thank you.